and I'm trying to mock up the seat height and location, and I actually measured another boat, and it should be pretty close to 22 inches in clearance there between the back of the seat and the back of the transom. When I start doing these seats, what I'm trying to do is I've still got to fiberglass the sides up there, and so what I like to do when I'm doing stuff like this is I have a little bit of glass work to do on some cleats that are going to hold these in, and so while I'm glassing that, I always end up with a little bit extra resin. We'll get those cleats on there, and what I'm basically going to do is have some cleats on the side there and the side here that are bonded and glassed and whatnot. And to that, I'm going to take a huge plank. I've got a bunch of 8/4 really thick Spanish cedar, and I'm going to coat, and I am going to probably fiberglass a piece of plywood across the two cleats, but then from underneath I'll screw the pretty wood, seat to that. So all those thicknesses I have to take in consideration, and chances are there'll also be a boat cushion on top of all that you'll actually sit on. So don't forget to calculate all those different heights when you determine your cleat height. So what I'm doing is I'm creating an angle. I just kind of set it up there and eyeballed the angle. I'm trying to trim it down, keep trimming on it, and while I'm trimming on it I'll get that angle a little bit better, and trimming and trimming and trimming until it fits snug to the side there with the line at the top of the seat. So use an electric planer to do that. Very handy tool for something like this. Alright, I got it fit pretty good. Got a little gap right there, but it's good enough for something you're going to glass in anyway and paint over. So just looking at the position of that, it looks sort of like it's in the right spot. But I don't have the motor here to go by. You don't want the seat all the way back, but you want to be back far enough where it's comfortable to drive a tiller drive motor. But anyway, what I've ended up with, in case anyone's interested, is 20 inches between the seat and the transom. Alright, another day down, and I got the rest of the inside glassed. I got my cleats glassed on. You can see I use, when I have to go around these hard to contour things like that, I use this really this is very, very thin cloth, and it'll contour without just all those little frays coming off of the chop mat. And well, here I use the same thing on this right here. It's a woven cloth, and just wanted to put a little protection on the bottom side of that seat. That's the underneath side, so when I set it on those cleats and glass it on, it'll already be glassed on the underneath side. And then I'll bolt my big piece of Spanish cedar on top of that. Alright, I'm gonna get ready to glass the top side of this back seat. And the cleats are glassed in. I've already figured out where I want those other cleats. I will have dimensions for all of that, and I've got fixed in here a piece of plywood that it's got a slight bow to it, which is kind of cool. I'm going to try and leave that in there. And what I did was I slightly oversized that, and then I just tapped it forward until I got it even, and tapped it down, and it's in there really snug. So I'm going to lay in just some seam tape in there to hold it in place before I glass it. Now this is where I intend for the two, I built it tall enough so the two gas tanks and battery could be here. Actually, it's probably too tall. I may end up trimming it down. So what I want to do is I want to get this boat weighted properly, and then I want to draw a level line when it's in the water from somewhere across the tanks to a point there that I don't know yet. So because I want that front deck to be level if I'm casting or fishing or anything like that off of it. There's the two pieces of Spanish cedar that are going to make the bench. Oops, ran into a machine. Right now it's about 18 by 64, and the final size will be 15 by 60 by whatever thickness. I had planned my height of the seat based on 1.5 inch seat thickness. So that's what it'll be. Alright, I got all my strips made up, and the idea here that I'm having is to just take a straight edge and hold it like this, and then when that touches, make a mark on the underneath side there, and then I'll get a couple layers, maybe 2. And then the idea is to fill that void with just resin and some filler of some sort, because I'm going to end up painting the whole top of this. And I'm going to try and keep the outside natural wood just as an accent strip to go along with the seats. And I'll mix up a batch of fiberglass resin, get these on, and any that I have left I'll use to glass that seat in place. And then the wood will get screwed on top of that. Okay, so I got both sides tacked on, and I didn't get the second layer on, and what I decided to do with some of the excess resin was go ahead and start that pour down in that groove, and a few places it started to come through, so I put some masking tape underneath. And when I put that next layer on, I'll have additional resin left over, and I'll continue pouring that, so I'll get it little by little. I got the seat, I put some fiberglass resin down first, screwed the seat down, and then put a layer of glass as best I could around all that. So it looks pretty crude right now, but I'll get it sanded out and painted. And now I'm going to work on those wooden seats, because I got to let this set up for a while. Alright, so that's just a Minwax satin spar varnish. That's all that is. And I put on a pretty heavy coat. This Spanish cedar really soaks. It's very, very, it's like a sponge. I don't know, whatever I'm trying to say. But anyway, so I'll be able to flip those over and put a heavy coat on those tomorrow. And so what I'm ended up doing is painting the fiberglass part of the seat, the sort of the mount, and then these will look neat with that the wood rail on the outside of the boat, and then the wooden seats would be kind of cool. Alright, well, we had to rework that trailer a little bit. The supports that were on there only went to there, and so I put on an 8-foot rail, recarpeted it, and got it as low as I could. Just easier to get in and out of the boat when it's lower. So on my way to what I thought, oh, and then this was made for that, like an 18-foot boat, so I had to move this thing all the way back to there and raise it all the way up. Hey, there's my geese. Hey, geese. I thought they were going to rig the motor for me, but there is a insurance problem in that this boat is not made by a manufacturer, so it does not have a horsepower rating label on it, and without that they cannot hang the motor. So it's a tiller drive, which means it can be laid down. So I'm going to pick it up, and they're going to put it in the back of the truck. So we got a little quilt for that. So off to get the motor. All right. Well, I missed it on the length of that shaft, but it wasn't something I could take a chance on, and I kind of like the comfort of how high it is. So that's a 20-inch shaft, and a 15 was available, I think, in a 20. Well, anyway, I ended up with a 25 and a 20-inch shaft. What I'm gonna end up, that's on there sort of not temporary. I mean, it's on there good, but I'm gonna end up taking this transom and going up and then over so that it's at the right height. But while I have it on there temporarily, all I did was take my forklift and it's got some hanging straps in there, and picked it up out of the back of the truck, and I had someone throw the bolts in there. It wasn't really that hard to do. So I've got it where I got a battery, I got a couple lines, a fuel line I need to change a fitting on, and get a piece to extend. I want to keep the fuel and the anchor and everything up here to keep some good weight up front. And because this trailer was so long, I needed some tongue weight, so I took some chain and just wrapped it around there. Trailers don't like to be light up front. They like to be heavy up front. But that's a far away shot there. Kind of see the get a perspective of the scale of everything. I think the scale of everything turned out pretty good. With the weather today, well, matter of fact, I think I'm going to cut this off at part 4 now that we got everything sort of ready to go in the water. And part 5 we'll start with the first trip, and I'm going to mark level for this deck while it's in the water and while my body weight is up here up front. And I need to reinforce the backside of this because it's actually pretty strong. But my dad was looking at it and he was like, yeah, that's going to eventually pull through, and I trust him. So that's it. I'll give you one shot from the behind here, and I think it's looking pretty good. It's definitely ready for the water, at least for just that test drive. So appreciate everybody watching, and stay tuned for the part 5.